Hi, Coach. South Africa have been unbeaten in the tournament so far, and we've seen that different players have stepped up on different occasions performing for the side. So, as a coach, how satisfying is that? And do you reckon you are the hot favorites to win this tournament?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I think it's really satisfying that we have been tested at different times during the tournament so far, and as you say, at different stages, different guys have stepped up. It's nice that I think also that we had quite a competitive tournament at home with our SA20 leading up to the World Cup. That's sort of put most of the batters in a good frame of mind and came to the tournament with some good form. And it's nice that most of them have been able to put up some good contributions so far in the tournament. I think as far as the favourites, it's T20 cricket. Last night we watched a match, it looked like it was gone with 20 minutes to go, and then obviously England pulled through, so anything can happen in T20. I think we just let it unfold at the moment.
Hi, Ashwell. You guys are in the unique situation that you are already in the semi-finals, but you have no idea where the semi-final will be as of yet. Thinking to tomorrow's game, with regards to the way that you will go into that game, can you speak about that a bit? And also, do you think now stick to what you think the strongest 11 is, or is there a chance to maybe give some other guys a chance to stay fresh?
Yeah, I think there is an opportunity to have a look at some of the guys who haven't been playing regularly. I suppose things that you have to consider is the guys that have been playing. There'll be discussion with the coach and medical staff how the energy levels are. Is there an opportunity? Is anybody perhaps carrying some slight niggles that would be better suited for resting rather than playing another game? But I think there is an opportunity to have a look at the guys who haven't been playing.
And during this tournament, one thing that stood out from South Africa is really smart cricket, and the way you're going about your batting plans is quite clear to see, and then obviously also in the field and with the bowling. Can you talk a bit about that, and just how do those plans come about?
Look, I think, obviously, just like every other team, they have their personnel who provides the data and a lot of analysis. What we tend to do is not to try to overload the players with all of that data and analysis. So what would initially happen is that the coaches will get together and have all that information, break it down with the head coach, and the captain sits in those meetings. So rather than having all the players sit in all the meetings, there aren't really that many meetings. All the coaching staff, batting, bowling, fielding, etc., with the head coach, and we'll bounce ideas. It's more a case of bouncing ideas around, and obviously with the captain being part of that, he then, when he goes onto the field, he has a clear idea or about all the discussions that we've had and different possibilities that could arise during the match. And I suppose he's, in terms of his leadership, he's got great communication with his bowlers out there in the middle, with the coaching staff, and we tend to just trust him with all the ideas and information. And rather than sort of having long extended meetings with bowling groups and batting groups, it's more casual conversations that happens from time to time in different departments.
Ash, some people might say, why do you want to bother playing this game which has no bearing on the tournament? Wouldn't you rather have a nice long net session instead? What do you say to those people?
No, look, I think it's, first of all, I think, you've got to respect the opposition. They've done their bit to qualify for the Super 8s. They've had a fantastic tournament, our neighbours. And they've done well to reach here. They'll be disappointed that it's not an opportunity for them to go further in the tournament. But from our point of view, we've been really sharp, and what we want to ensure is that we maintain that discipline and intensity, and that we don't drop off as far as those are concerned.
And just quickly on Aiden, I think because he's the captain, we maybe don't look at his batting as often as we should. And I just wonder, he seems to have found himself as a player. A civilian like me says he's playing straighter, but what do you think has made him so successful?
Look, I think Aiden is playing really well at the moment. I think in the past there might have been different opinions about what his best position in the lineup might be. He's played in different positions, not only for us, but also in leagues. He's batted in different positions. I've always been of the opinion that opening is his best position, and obviously having a partner such as Quinn, who's also a fantastic player, left-right combination, they complement each other really well. And then again, a few times I found myself now in different interviews referencing SA20. I think he started SA20 in the middle order, and then towards the end, when some of the personnel left at Durban, he was opening, and he really ended that competition really strong in that position as an opener. And he's brought that into the World Cup, and you know, his form is really good at the moment. The phrase that my kids would use is he's really locked in at the moment in terms of his focus, his batting, and in terms of his captaincy. And at the same time, so are all the rest of the players, and they're just enjoying each other's company. And I think that's also a big thing. You know, what's happening outside of the matches, in the team environment, in the dressing room, in the team room. Players are really enjoying each other's companies. The families are over. Some little ones. I saw a video come out today of Davey pushing all the kids around. So the space is really good, and the guys are really enjoying the space.
Hello as well. Till now, a very good tournament for you as a team, and you are still unbeaten. But basically, the knockout matches are a little bit worry about for the South African team in the past. Have you been as a discuss for the upcoming knockout match, basically semi-final or final?
Well, we're not at the knockout stages yet. At the end of the day, we've got another game to play tomorrow. So first things first is the focus is on tomorrow's match. At the moment, we don't even know who we're going to play against. So I think, you know, you got to respect, like I say, the opposition we have to face tomorrow. And when we get to the knockout stage, we start focusing on that.
Hi, Ashwell. You mentioned about England like scraping through in some of the games.
No. Please don't quote me on scraping through.
But they've had some tight matches. South Africa, apart from that Afghanistan win, it's been fairly convincing. Like in tournament cricket, before a big semi-final or final, is there such a thing as an ideal lead-up, or from your experience, what do you think is the best?
No, I think obviously winning, you know, creates good momentum. However you win, I mean, sometimes you can have convincing wins. Some other times you can have tight matches that really brings the group together. So however you're able to get over the line, I don't think there's an ideal way. I suppose, you know, if you look at our last game, we won by 9 wickets. If you look at England's last game, the game you're referencing, you win by 9 wickets, your middle order don't get an opportunity. You win the way that England did, and their guys down at number 7 and 8 making telling contributions. That lifts them as well, gives their batting lineup a lot of confidence, knowing that those guys can come to the party and take the team over the line. So I don't think there's a right or wrong way of doing it, or an ideal way. I think it's nice not to have a lot of close games, but I think close games definitely helps in terms of team morale.
Ashwell, the World Test Championship victory last year, I think it seems to have done a world of good to South African cricket. And do you think there's a kind of new self-belief in this team where you think you can go all the way and break the jinx in the limited overs cricket as well in the world?
Yeah, look, I think, again, I'm going to say, you know, we take it one game at a time. Having said that, you know, getting over the line in the World Test Championship was a big moment for us as a country, as a cricketing nation. And for this group of players, which is largely the same group of players. A lot of the batters played in the World Test Championship final, bar David Miller and Quinton de Kock, who comes back into this format but brings a whole lot of experience added to those guys who played in the Test Championship. And equally, in the bowling department, it's pretty much the same guys, bar one or two guys who are not here. So, all in all, it's a big part of it is the same group of players, and what that creates is a lot of confidence within your teammates, and trust that, you know, whenever they are going to be called upon, there's a big belief in your teammates, in that when their moment presents itself, that they can step up to delivering at their time.
Hi, Coach. Coach, yeah. I want to ask you about Tristan Stubbs. Like before the coming to this T20 World Cup, Tristan Stubbs had a bit of middling form in SA20, and he comes into this setup due to injury to the other batters, and he's just delivering like in the game against India as well. He's giving you the finishing touches. So can you just talk a bit about like what's really changed for Tristan now that he's back in the SA setup and he's just delivering well for the Proteas in this T20 World Cup? Can you just talk about the whole process?
Yeah, so Tristan is, you watch him, and when you guys, you are all able to see him in the field, you can see a lot of his personality. When he takes a catch, when the team takes a wicket, how he celebrates. If you look, you're making reference to SA20. He was awarded the captaincy in the SA20 after being left out initially out of the team and out of our squad. And if you know the person, you know the way that I know him is that some players at the time of being left out of the World Cup squad might have used the SA20, particularly in a position of leadership or power, to enhance his own situation. But he's a selfless character. He slotted himself in the middle order. It was people like Quinton de Kock, Johnny Bairstow, initially young Herman, who took the lead for the Sunrisers. Tristan Stubbs was quite happy to slot himself in the middle order. For him, it's about the team. It's always about the team and how the team is doing. And obviously when he's required, he'll have his moment. And for the Sunrisers, he did exactly that. And no bigger moment than when he was needed in the final. He stepped up to the plate. And I think, we have a lot of these characters in the dressing room where it's a selfless dressing room. People are wanting just to do their bit for the team. It's not about individuals and having, their glory. It's all about the team and sacrifice for the team. And I think that starts right at the top with our leadership, coach and Captain Markram.
Right, Coach, the last time South Africa and Zimbabwe played at an ICC event, Hobart, an unfortunate result which eventually led to the exit of South Africa from the tournament. But since then, every ICC event, men's event, South Africa have had a stellar record across formats, be it white ball or red ball. What do you think has been the biggest change 2023 onwards with regards to South Africa's results in ICC events?
Excuse me. I think when you talk T20 cricket, the shortest format of the game always presents the biggest opportunity for a shock result. That's what I believe. Having said that, Zimbabwe have got some dangerous players in their ranks. Tomorrow they'll have some dangerous players in their ranks, and obviously we've seen how well they've done in this tournament. So, if you compare that to perhaps a test match, you have to sustain a high level of play for longer periods of time. When it comes down to a T20 match, you need 3 or 4 guys, 4 or 5 guys to be firing on a day, and they can tilt results in their favor. So, looking at tomorrow's match, we certainly are aware of all the dangerous players they have in their team. As far as we're concerned, obviously we know what we've done well so far in the competition, and we have to make sure that we maintain those levels. And to maintain those levels generally is about not dropping down your intensity and sticking to the same processes that have brought us to where we are.
Hi, Coach. When the draws came out, a lot of matches that you guys have played are either at the Ahmedabad Stadium or in Delhi. So do you think that this is a sort of advantage that was handed over? Looking at the conditions, you didn't have to adjust much, you don't have to travel around much. And what have been the talks with the players who have already played here in the IPL, and what were their thoughts shared within the dressing room? What were the talks, and what inputs did they give when all these meetings were happening?
Look, we all have our different opinions about who's been advantaged and who's been disadvantaged in the tournament. People have their opinion. At the end of the day, we are visitors. At the World Cup, we don't draw up the schedule. The schedule has been drawn up by the ICC. Look, at the end of the day, it's for us not having to travel and playing in Ahmedabad a few of our games. I think it obviously helps not having to travel that much. But as I say, drawing up the schedule is out of our control.
Yeah, Ashwell, in tournaments like these, peaking at the right time probably is one, keyword kind of sense, in a way you look at it. Super 8, you have had two dominant performances. So in the dressing room, is that the talk that we are peaking at the right time? Or the Zimbabwe game you're looking at, there's a box we still need to tick, or it's like keeping the momentum, we are doing well?
Look, every cricket match we play, we try to win. I don't believe there's any team that goes out thinking, that's not the case. I think we try to win every match that we play in. We're not thinking about peaking or not peaking. The only thing that matters is maintaining our standards. If we maintain our standards, we believe that we can be competitive against any team in the world. And sometimes you get pushed in matches, and maybe you have to play a little bit above what people think your ceiling might be. So far, when we've found ourselves under pressure, we've been able to step up and get over the line. So, some big matches coming up in the tournament, and for us, our process remains the same in terms of our preparation. We know we'll be tested, but we also have a good team that we trust, and quite confident that should we be challenged, that we can step up.